At my dad's wedding, I sat at the last table, surrounded by distant cousins, feeling like I wasn't really part of the family. We had to make choices, my stepmom said with a smile. My stepbrother was right there beside my dad at the front. I thanked them for making it so easy and then walked out. Just weeks later, they would plead for my return, but deep down I've always felt my dad's disappointment in me. He never said it directly. His politeness held him back. It's evident in how he speaks of me. Alternatively, he often fails to mention me. Whenever someone brings up my stepbrother Derek, I see my dad's face brighten. I invested my entire being into my work, and it's yielding positive results. I can feel the success surrounding me, a testament to my dedication and effort. There's always a new milestone, a fresh investment, something that catches my eye. When people ask about me, I feel a pause in the air. She gave a gentle nod. She's lost in her world, just doing her thing. He remains silent, his eyes seeming to hold no further words. I never became what he hoped for. I never pursued wealth or influence. I took a job that I believe is beneath me. My life feels small to him. For years, I felt like an afterthought. The wedding simply confirmed what I had always felt deep down. I never thought I'd have such a significant part. To my surprise, I found myself in the spotlight. I never imagined myself tucked away at the back, feeling like I didn't matter at all. I gazed at the seating chart, searching for familiar names. Dad and Karen were right up front, as always. Derek, his wife, his business partner, and my dad's closest friends sat at the head table, all positioned as if they were the heart of the family. What's my name? Table 14.io was lost in a sea of distant cousins I hadn't encountered since my childhood. They likely wouldn't even know who I am. For a moment I felt a wave of disbelief wash over me. I realized I had misread the list. Perhaps my name existed in other places as well. Then I heard Karen's voice. We had to make choices. She smiled as she spoke, wine glass in hand, her voice dripping with sweetness. Her tone felt neutral, as if she were simply stating a fact, not being rude at all. I stared at my dad, hoping he would finally speak up. I had to see it for myself. Yet he hardly responded. I could see he was lost in conversation with someone else, completely distracted. He looked at me as if the seating hadn't crossed his mind at all. He never thought his only daughter might not belong in the room's farthest corner. That was it for me. That was my moment. It wasn't the seating, nor Karen's smirk, but that fleeting glance that pierced through me. The casual indifference struck me deeply. I felt invisible, as if my struggles went unnoticed by everyone around me. To him, it just didn't matter. It was then that I knew the struggle was over. I smoothed my dress, took a deep breath, and nodded. I sincerely appreciate how simple you made it. I turned and walked away. I kept my composure. I quietly closed the door, holding back my emotions. I walked away. No one held me back. I hurried to my car, the sound of my heels echoing on the pavement. My hands were steady. I was taken aback. I always believed this moment would shatter me. I expected to be heartbroken, furious. I might even be experiencing feelings of guilt. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. For once, I knew I wasn't overreacting. What if I was just imagining it all? Perhaps I should just feel thankful for the invitation, no matter what. It was real. They revealed my true position. For the first time, I truly believed them. I lingered in my car, eyes fixed on the parking lot, waiting for my phone to buzz. Perhaps my dad finally understood I was missing. My aunt might be wondering what happened, yet there was only silence. I could hear the laughter and clinking glasses from inside as they celebrated, lost in their world. Not a single person noticed. That's when laughter escaped me. It wasn't funny at all. It felt so predictable. I started my engine and drove off, feeling lighter with each mile that slipped away. I felt as though I had been carrying this burden for years, and now I had finally let it go. I had been waiting for this moment for what felt like forever. I didn't realize it at the time. I always sensed it lurking in the shadows of my thoughts. For years, my dad and I had been growing distant. This was before Karen entered my life. My journey began even before Derek became the son I always desired. I began my journey with my career choice. I was clever as a child. I worked hard for those excellent grades, driven by my ambition. My dad always thought I'd end up in business, law, or finance. It meant everything to me. It was something that truly brought in real money. When I shared my dream of becoming a nurse, he remained calm. He just accepted it. He let out a deep sigh. It felt as if I had just confessed to him that I was wasting my life. He told me I would work long hours for little pay. I felt exhausted all the time. I setting myself up for struggle. I insisted that it didn't matter to me. I felt a deep desire to help others. My heart raced at his response. Being a doctor means you can truly make a difference in people's lives. Alternatively, you might consider becoming a surgeon. Why would you pick a less appealing option? That was his perspective. It felt as if I had settled for something inferior. Thereafter, he was never there for me. He never inquired about my classes, my training, or my first job at the hospital. The situation changed when Derek started his own business. When Derek began his business, Dad believed in him. He shared stories about him with everyone. I watched as Derek poured his heart into building something. My work simply consumed me. It had always been that way. When I needed help, my dad was there for me. I received a lesson in self-reliance when I reached out for help. I went ahead and did it. I juggled my studies with work. I worked extra shifts, I paid my rent. Yet every time my job was mentioned, Dad always had a comment. Are you prepared for another long shift? You chose it. Are you still renting? I wish I had made better choices. I hope you enjoy the endless nights ahead. It was the most painful moment. I was there for him no matter what. I was the one who checked his blood pressure when it got bad. I was there ensuring he took his meds while he recovered from surgery. I was the one arranging appointments when he needed a doctor. Each time, he ignored the appointment. You're not really a doctor. I'm feeling overwhelmed by how much you're focusing on this. I can take care of myself. I knew I should have just walked away then, yet I didn't. I couldn't shake the feeling that he was still my dad. It must mean something. In that parking lot, with my phone quiet in my hand, a realization washed over me. It just didn't. For the first time, I felt at peace with it. That night, silence enveloped me. No one reached out. There were no messages at all. I can't understand why I thought there would be one. Perhaps I should try to fix things at the last moment. I hesitated. Where did you go? I received this information from my father. This is a message from Karen, who disguises her true feelings with a joke. There's nothing, there is only emptiness, a void that echoes my thoughts. I search for meaning, but it slips through my fingers like sand. I feel lost, adrift, in a sea of silence, yearning for something, anything, to fill the space inside me. But what I find is nothing. I got home, tossed my heels aside, and ordered takeout. I scrolled through my phone, feeling like it was just another ordinary night. I felt fine. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm finished. The first message arrived the next morning. "Oh, Susan, are you all right?" I could feel it, the awareness in their eyes, the whispers behind my back. They were starting to notice. I turned away from their gaze. Then another one came. "Connor, what happened? I saw you leave before anyone else noticed. Overlooked." And then at last, my dad appeared. "Dad, we really need to talk. I won't say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel excluded. I'm truly sorry. We really need to talk. I just couldn't bring myself to respond. For days, I braced myself for the guilt to wash over me. It never happened. I felt a sense of lightness. I worked long hours, picked up extra shifts, and shared coffee with friends. I went about my day, doing the usual things. For the first time in years, my mind was quiet, free from replaying old conversations. Perhaps I should have expressed it differently. Perhaps I'm just overreacting. Only silence, it felt nice. A week later, my aunt called me. "I really need to talk to my dad." I kept quiet. I just waited. I sighed. "I can't believe he's in the hospital." I nearly chuckled. It wasn't funny at all. Naturally, "He's okay," she said hurriedly. "He needs help." Yet there was, "He would rather not see you. He feels awful about what happened. He just needs help." I should have anticipated this. My dad had brushed aside his symptoms for far too long. My blood pressure is high. Overwhelmed, there was a complication with his medications. Once upon a time, a complication arose. I should have caught it sooner. I should have checked in, urged him to see the doctor, and ensured he was looking after himself. He was trapped in the hospital, and I couldn't bring myself to answer his calls. In that moment, everything changed. In the days that followed, our family faced a crisis together. Karen reached out. I turned away from her. Derek reached out. I turned away from him as well. Aunt Susan tried to comfort me again. I understand why you're feeling this way. I arched an eyebrow. Do you really? I hesitated. He's always been that way. He never says what he truly means. I exhaled deeply. Very. I'm eager to see how that turns out. What happened? What did he mean by that? The room fell silent. She just couldn't. He truly meant it. Each time, each remark, he always made me feel small. He truly meant it. He wanted me back now. That night, another text came through. Dad, I really need to talk to you. No, I can't apologize. I really messed up. I switched off my phone. It was a week later when they finally let him go. What's the issue? He required constant support. Can you believe it? It feels like a lot to spend. He used to have me. I gave everything I had without expecting anything in return. I checked my blood pressure. I closely monitored his medication regimen. I made sure he followed the doctor's orders. He had no choice but to hire someone. He just couldn't make it work. I took a deep breath and tried one last time. It's time to leave the past behind us. I nearly spilled my coffee. Oh, really? My dad is struggling. The subject matter is about my family. A brief laugh escaped me. Okay. My heart swells at the thought of family. That's really intriguing. A few weeks ago, I found myself at the cousin table. Quiet. What is it? I inquired. Do I belong to this family? Am I just a distant relative you'll overlook until you want something from me? It feels so unfair. Your seating chart was just as flawed. I ended the call. Thereafter, everything is a blur. Perhaps they discovered a more affordable option. Perhaps they discovered it themselves. They just stopped calling, and I felt the silence weigh heavily on me. Since then, silence has filled the space between us. Here's the latest news. I waited, but the calls never came. For a moment, I believed it was over. I hoped they would understand that my dad would finally see I wasn't returning just for his convenience. Suddenly, there was Karen standing at my workplace. The afternoon dragged on at the clinic. A familiar voice at the front desk interrupted my paperwork. I'm here to visit my stepdaughter. I need to talk to you right now. I shut my eyes. I inhaled deeply. I remember Karen vividly. The receptionist informed her that appointments were necessary and personal visits weren't permitted during shifts. Yet Karen had this way of speaking, polite yet insistent, that always seemed to get her way. I left before she could cause a fuss. Why are you here? I asked, arms crossed. He smiled as if we had known each other forever. I needed to share my thoughts. We've already done it. I am currently on the call, recall. My heart skipped as her smile twitched. This isn't my story. My father, I raised my hand. No, don't mention him. As if it will make a difference. I'm watching him struggle. A brief laugh escaped me. I get it. I experienced firsthand the consequences of neglecting your health over an extended period. I sighed. He's deteriorating. I wish we could afford full-time care, but it's too expensive. I should have prioritized better. My heart raced as her eyes flickered. She understood me completely. She fought against the urge to hold on to grudges. He's my father. After that, there was nothing left to say. There was simply nothing more to express. I could sense her desire for me to feel guilty. She seemed to suddenly recall my role and re-enter as if nothing had changed. I had changed. I was no longer that person. If he needs care, please consider hiring someone. If you're experiencing financial difficulties, consider reaching out to Derek. He's the one who made it, isn't he? My jaw tightened. I'm feeling neglected. I nearly chuckled once more. Absolutely. I believed that too. I walked away. She clutched my wrist tightly. "You owe him," she whispered, her voice barely audible to anyone nearby. And there it was. She truly came here for a purpose. I withdrew my hand. Actually, I didn't withdraw my hand. I turned and left. Here's the latest news. I believed that was the end of it. It wasn't the end. A week later, I received a call from my dad. I hesitated to answer the call. Yet a part of me couldn't help but feel curious. I responded. For a brief moment, there was silence. In that moment, something unexpected happened. "Hi there." I pressed my back against the counter. What do I truly want? I let out a breath. "Karen mentioned she spoke with you." "She really did." Silence again. "So, I feel we need to have a conversation." They were facing each other. I couldn't help but laugh. "Oh, so now you want to see me?" He brushed it aside. "Stop by my place. I'm excited for dinner." It was just us. The clock caught my eye. If you had asked me that a year ago, I would have been thrilled. Silence again. We both understand the issue goes beyond just dinner. I sighed. "Just come over." I went along with it, even though I knew I shouldn't. That evening, I found myself at the house. Returning felt strange. Everything was the same, yet it no longer felt like home. It had been ages. I walked in to find Dad already at the table. The aroma of takeout enveloped me. I realized he hadn't cooked. He just never did. I took a seat. We sat in silence, eating for a few minutes. At last he found his voice. "How's work going for you?" I nearly chuckled. "You never cared about my job, Dad." I winced. "That can't be right. Seriously, last time I checked, you considered it a waste." He pressed his fingers against his temple, feeling the weight of the world. "I didn't bring you here to fight." "Why am I here?" I hesitated. Finally, he got to the point. "I really need your help." The problem stood before me. I set my fork aside. "Are you saying you need free medical care?" "That's not how I see it." "How would you say it?" I shifted in my chair. I wondered if, since you know so much, you might be able to save some money. I sighed. "Could you please share why the situation is challenging for you?" I blinked. "Do you find it amusing?" I used to think the same way. "I was always there for you. I was always there for you when no one else was. You continued to make me feel unworthy." My heart sank as I saw his expression tighten. "It feels so unjust." "No," I waved my hand, taking in the room. "Could you help me understand what might have led to my oversight of this concern during the wedding? When Karen placed me in the back, I felt like an afterthought. I let her go, I waited, but he didn't answer. I couldn't believe it. "I know you don't want a daughter, I just need a nurse, and I can't afford to pay for one." "That's simply not the case. So, what is it?" I leaned in. "What do you really want from me, Dad?" My heart raced as he opened his mouth. I shut it tight. He just didn't know. Here's the latest update. It was the final moment I laid eyes on him. He kept texting me. I turned away from him. And just like that, the messages ceased. Months passed, and then I learned from my aunt that he had finally found someone to hire. He had finally found a true caregiver. I used a service that charged me by the hour. It was unbelievable. I could barely afford it. Derek just stood there, doing nothing to help. Karen grumbled about the expense, yet she wouldn't step up to care for him herself. Myself. I found myself right where I longed to be. A year has passed. A message popped up from an unknown number. It felt fleeting. "Dad's back in the hospital. I wanted to share the moment with you." I gazed at the screen, lost in thought. At last I blocked the number. I just kept moving forward. Here's the latest. It's been 2 years now. It had been ages since my mind wandered to my dad. Not truly. I didn't feel the need to check in. Occasionally I'd catch whispers from my family. My health wasn't great. I was struggling with money. I felt the weight of stress pressing down on me, consuming my thoughts. It was no longer my burden to bear. I accepted it. I was doing better than fine, really. My life became easier without the stress, the pressure to prove myself, and the exhaustion of seeking acceptance from those who didn't care. My job remained challenging. My shifts felt endless. I cherished my life. I once had true friends. These were individuals who genuinely valued my presence. I journeyed, I began saving for the things that truly mattered to me. In that moment, my dad had precisely what he wanted. His wife stayed with him solely because she had no other options. A son consumed by his investments, ignoring my calls completely. Numerous medical bills weighed heavily on him. It wasn't until my cousin Connor reached out that I realized just how awful things had become. I understand this isn't what you want to hear, but it's really bad. I was on my couch, eyes fixed on the text. Connor and I never shared a profound bond. He was one of the rare ones in the family who truly noticed things. I wrestled with the idea of just letting it go. In that moment, despite my instincts, I found myself typing a response. "What's wrong, my dad? I'm completely broke." I had to sell the house. I blinked, feeling the weight of the moment settle around me. That house held so much more than just bricks and walls. It was the one I held on to after the divorce. The house that Karen and I had transformed together over the years was truly special. I loved that house. "Where is he?" I inquired. "He is renting out a tiny space. I've seen him asking everyone for money." I exhaled deeply. It existed. It doesn't matter to me. It's not an apology. This questionnaire is yet another attempt to elicit information from me. Let me take a wild guess. I typed away, pouring my thoughts onto the screen. "Did he indeed recommend that you reach out to us?" "No," I admitted. "She did. She always did." It was 2 days later when Karen called me. I stayed silent. She left a voicemail. "I can feel your anger, but we really need to have a conversation." We just didn't. I hit delete on the message. Here's the latest. A month has passed since then. I received another message. I answered a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Dad's back in the hospital. I wanted to share something important with you." I gazed at the screen, lost in thought. I never inquired about the issue. I never asked if he was okay. I have decided to block that number. Here's the latest. It's been 3 months now. I bumped into Derek. He saw me before I had a chance to look away. "Well, look who it is," he said, grinning as if we were old friends. I nodded politely at him. "Derek," he looked at my scrubs, "are you still continuing with your nursing career?" I let out a breath through my nose. "Are you still dodging Dad's calls?" It took away his smile completely. "What do you need from me?" He paused before speaking. "I found myself in this situation because of him." I tilted my head, feeling a rush of thoughts swirl inside me. He offered you his all, and now I can't even offer him a bit of support. Derek let out a derisive laugh. "You weren't there for me either." "Yeah," I said it. "He made me feel worthless." "What's holding you back?" Derek remained silent. He simply didn't have a response. It's been 6 months since that day Connor told me my dad had moved into a nursing facility. It was a tough day. The kind that just scraped by health standards, yet it was the only place within his budget. "Please confirm if Derek will be able to assist me," I inquired. "No, I can't bring myself to go." I nodded, feeling the weight of the moment settle in my chest. That felt just right. I considered going just once. I just wanted to see how he looked now. I wanted to see if he had undergone any changes. I just couldn't. I already knew how it would unfold. He refused to say he was sorry. I felt a surge of frustration as he entirely ignored the fact that he had done something wrong. He always expected me to make everything right. Stepping back into my old role feels like returning to a familiar embrace. I knew I couldn't go through that again. It's been a year since everything changed. Sitting in the break room at work, I heard the news come on. Derek is an integral part of the business. The focus was on Derek's new venture. I sat in that sleek, high-rise office, listening to him talk about expansion investments and the money he was making. It felt surreal, almost overwhelming. I gazed at the screen. This individual has a strong connection with me. He is a person of considerable wealth. He couldn't even spare a dime for the father who had sacrificed everything for him. My dad picked him. He had put him first. Now I find myself in a rundown nursing home, grappling with loneliness. I watched as Derek thrived. I flourished. That's when it struck me. I had triumphed. My victory was not a result of resentment. However, I approached it from a profoundly deep perspective. I created something just for me. It was a life I lived. My dad had crafted his future as well. He constructed it on favoritism, overlooking me, belittling my worth. Now, I was facing the consequences of my choices. It wasn't about revenge, it wasn't fate, it was precisely what he had envisioned. Last update, Connor sent me one final text. Last night, I lost my dad. I felt it was important to share my thoughts with you. I gazed at the message, lost in thought. I held back my tears. Relief was nowhere to be found. I felt empty. That feeling revealed everything to me. I responded, "I appreciate you telling me." I set my phone aside and prepared for my shift. Unlike my dad, I still had others who depended on me. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments.